I gladly welcome you to this week's edition of SME Data with Samson Okolinka. And in today's edition, we'll be talking to you about how to remain highly profitable in business. Now, but before we even go on, what is profit? What is profit? Now, economists define profit as the difference between, of course, a firm's selling price and its cost price. That is what you get after deducting not just after basically coming and removing the administrative expenses and other expenses that the firm incurs. That gives you profit. And at the same time, economists believe that a firm is said to be maximizing profit when its marginal revenue meets its marginal cost. This has been the belief of economists, of course, also business owners and industrialists, looking at really maximizing profit and remaining profitable. Should I say sadly? But I mean, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I found something that profit is not really maximized at that level that we seem to be. But before I even go on with that, let me explain what this means, because I'm sure that we might have non-economists watching this video. Now, when a firm, for example, let's say a firm that produces, let's say, magazine, like a magazine, probably a business magazine, he incurs some costs in producing those magazines. Now, let's assume that there's an increase in the demand for this magazine. For example, probably he used to supply probably 200 volumes or copies of his magazine monthly, and maybe due to advertisement or something, his demand increased, and he was asked to supply about 500 to 1,000 volumes. Now, the rule here states that if you're going to, of course, produce more, if you're going to, of course, incur additional costs, make sure that your revenue is equal to your additional cost, or if possible, lesser than that. I mean, your cost should be lesser than that. That's what it means. That is, your marginal cost should either be equal to your marginal revenue, or if possible, less than your marginal revenue, so that you make profit. And this is basically how the world has been, right? For most especially those that have been running traditional business models. And the truth is that these models that has been working for some time now cannot really sustain today's reality, and I'll prove that to you. When I did a research 2-3 years ago, I found out that the very profitable businesses you see today, they are not running at that level. In fact, they've shifted from running at the level of MC being equal to MR to 0 MC being equal to MR. And what this means is that a business runs profitable. The only condition where a business runs, or maximizes profit will only happen when he runs at the level where his marginal revenue equals 0 marginal cost. And these things I will explain now. If you go to a software company and you ask them for their performance, you compare their performance, and you compare that with a billionaire probably somewhere in Africa that has been doing, running a traditional business model, you see that the software company, when you do your analysis, you find out that the software company broke even in lesser years compared to the business running a traditional business model. I won't want to give such examples here, I won't want to call names, but when you look at these things deeply, for example, compare Microsoft, compare Facebook. These businesses started just, not very, of course. I mean, when you compare when they started, you see that they started just, recently, and then you compare the business with, other businesses that have started since 1970 something, 1988 something. You see that these guys are doing well. They are working. They are running at a level that is, that is highly optimal. And this I will explain to you, because they've moved from that level where profit is maximized. From where you make profit at where your MC equals MR. They've moved from that place to making profit where your MR meets a zero marginal cost. And this is the way it works. When you're a software producing company, your product becomes software. Your product are digital in nature. And once you make your production, you don't incur costs. For example now, someone look at Microsoft. If there's an increase in the software, maybe, for example, Dell, those companies that they partner with to deliver, their value proposition. If there's an increase in those things, let's say, for example, Dell produces so many, so many laptops, and then maybe, HP too, they do the same and all that, and then there's an increase in demand. That will not stop Microsoft from delivering, because it's a software. All they need to do basically is just to service their partners. It's just to give them access to the solution. They don't have to go and start producing new quantity or new volume, like we saw when I gave an illustration with the magazine guy. Of course, he has to start producing. He has to print more magazine. He has to get his team to print more magazine and all that, and then start sharing. Now, the money he would have saved, he's been spent now. But unlike these guys, and I'll give you another example again. Digital product, for example. Of course, courses, flyers, and all that. If a digital product is produced only, you don't incur any kind of cost. Again, even if your demand increases from 100 persons buying a month to about 1,000 persons, all you need to do is to get their email address and send to them, and you'll be in profit. That is the true profit maximization rule. That you maximize profit, and that is you make maximum profit when your marginal revenue meets zero marginal cost. That is when your MR becomes zero MC. That is the true rule. And this thing I have done this severally for my business. Just today, I spoke with some of my friends and I showed them, screenshots of what we've done, doing the same model, and it has helped a lot of businesses. So if you're watching me, I want you to do something. Think about how you can replicate, whatever you're doing, no matter the industry you're playing in, think about how you can create a digital product from that. If you cannot create a software like what Bill Gates and other great guys are doing, start with a digital product. It can be an ebook, it could be a video course, it could be a template, it could be a sheet code, any of those things. Start with them, and I assure you, you would start playing at this point. You will climb from playing from the MC equal MR rule to playing at a newer level, to playing at a greater level, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I want you to please like our video and probably leave a comment under the comment section. I also want you to please subscribe to our channel, and I promise that you keep on getting valuable content. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next week.